Yo, it's Johnny Shrimp here. It's been 15 years since the release of the first DLC of Fallout New Vegas, Dead Money, and I have never played it. I know, that's actually very blasphemous of me. But now is the time to rectify that sin. You see, for the last couple of weeks, since, I haven't uploaded, my bad, I've been playing hundreds of hours worth of Fallout New Vegas. With this mountain trove of footage, I decided to make a video for each of the DLCs in Fallout New Vegas. So sit back, relax, pop a cold one. Actually, before you do all that, comment, like, and subscribe, and watch me experience Fallout New Vegas' Dead Money for the first time. Imagine you're the everyday run-of-the-mill courier who got shot in the head. Yep, that's me. You see, I was wandering the Mojave wasteland hoping for a nuclear winter when all of a sudden my Pip-Boy picked up a frequency.
Has your life taken a turn? Do troubles beset you? Has fortune left you behind? If so, the Sierra Madre Casino, in all its glory, is inviting you to begin again.
From this frequency came the most exquisite voices in all of Fallout. The sound is both vintage yet classy, a performer for the higher class. But to me, it was a damsel reaching out to my heart. Her invitation was clear. How could I ever let go of this chance to go to the Sierra Madre Casino? So I packed up everything I had and off we went to the abandoned Brotherhood of Steel bunker. So Dead Money recommends to be level 20 plus, and I kinda went in a little bit under. Yeah, that was gonna make for a good experience. It's popping out here. Oh, the f***ing scared the shit out of me. What the hell? Oh my god. After that unnecessary jump scare, we went right into the opening credits, and I freaking loved it. I mean, I was so hyped for this damn thing. That is, until we actually started the DLC. You see, here was our first actual problem.
Make the mistake of saying no.
Audio was just disastrous. It was so bad. And it had nothing to do with me recording. It was literally the game itself. So I had to go online and figure out what was going on. Lo and behold, it turns out that there was a mod that fixed this issue because for whatever reason, the loud popping sounds from the audio, I guess someone didn't mix it and they decided to leave it in. What the hell? So yeah, on the shrimp meter, they get dropped a point for that because honestly, that is just so bad. Imagine just not having any mods and having to deal with that the whole time. Absolutely not. That is unacceptable. Anyways, after we fixed that issue, it was honestly smooth sailing from there. So you can imagine my surprise when instead of having bad bitches, a martini, and loads of cash by my side, I end up awake with an old man telling me he strapped my ass with a bomb. Things couldn't get any worse. This man's is acting like a Temu Jigsaw killer, except he has an itchy finger and is willing to decapitate me for disobeying his orders. To summarize my experience so far, I'm basically holding his pocket until Daddy Elijah lets me go. So what are some of my early impressions? Well, it's dark, it's creepy, and it's silent for some reason. I can see why people hated this DLC. I mean, if I got thrown into a scary game too, I'd also be kind of annoyed. If I wasn't hated enough, they had to just add in the ghost harvesters. Essentially, they're twitchy, immortal, and you have to decapitate them in order to stop it completely. After having said all that, you might think I didn't like this DLC, and that's where you're wrong. I actually really enjoyed it. Sure, I was creeped out the whole entire time, but it did add a level of intrigue to my mission. I wanted to explore the world, figure out what was going on and why the hell this was happening. As a matter of fact, I didn't know that we would have all our items taken away. Luckily, the game takes pity on me and they gave me a hollow rifle and lead pipe. And very shitty armor, but whatever, we got something. From what I understood, Dead Money was one of the hardest DLCs for people. Now personally, I found it very easy and not hard at all, and that's likely to do with the fact that I took my time with everything, looking at every corner, unlocking all the terminals, getting all the weapons I could, and overall, when I leveled up, leveling all the skills that I thought were pretty important considering that's what the game was asking for. Lo and behold, I kinda got lucky on that. So what is this DLC known for beyond its difficulty? Well, here's the thing, its narrative is incredible, and we have to start with the 3 companions we have to go recruit. In the beginning of the video, I mentioned that Elijah put a collar on our necks that would blow up. Well, we're not the only ones, it seems. As a matter of fact, if any of us die, we all die. That's some real Batum shit. If you know that reference, you know. Our first companion that we find is God, or Dog. This is an interesting one. First off, we find him caged up in the police station. You know how all those kids on VR mention that they have multiple personalities? Yeah, well, this one is actually real. You see, Dog is a subservient personality that follows Elijah. Editor Shrimp here, can we just talk about how he looks right now? I mean, the man is clever cloud and darkness and I can't even see his full face, yet he sounds so menacing. What is this? Elijah has become its new master, and as a matter of fact, if I'm remembering correctly, it seems that Dog, or God, was actually following the old master from Fallout 1, which, hey, throwback. As we traverse the police station from these freaking radios that always make my head about to blow up, which yes, that I still have nightmares with that stupid ass beeping. Alright, we need to open that up with 70.
Makes my stomach hurt.
Alright, gotta be careful with that. We end up hearing a new voice in the radio. This one is specifically telling us that we should pick up the recording and play it in order for Dog to do something interesting. And that's when the personality switch happens, from Dog to God. You see, God is the newer personality. It's more refined, it has intelligence, and it isn't as simple as Dog. As a matter of fact, God himself refuses and dislikes Elijah for commanding Dog to do every bit of his bidding. As we pass several speech checks and a bunch of other skill checks, it turns out that God actually wants to help Dog as much as he can. However, Dog refuses to accept him. Refuses so much that Dog actually injures himself by putting his hand through a bear trap and even carving his name into his chest. Also, it turns out that Dog was the one that was commanded by Elijah to go gather all the survivors who got knocked out by that gas. So yes, he is the one who grabbed me, nabbed me. Now I'm here with a bomb on my neck. Also, Dog ate his bomb because, I mean, he's savage and he's always hungry, so that causes issues for him. To wrap this up, the last important thing that you need to know is that both of them give you a certain perk that will be helpful. Dog, it turns out that if you knock out any of the ghost harvesters, well, Dog will jump on them and start eating them, making it so they can't revive again. Meanwhile, God lets you traverse the area without triggering traps and gives you a bonus to sneak. By the way, if at any point you decide to switch from God to Dog, it will piss off God because he wants to be in control for now and only allows you to switch when it's mandatory. On to the next problem child. Her name is Christine. I was joking, she's not a problem child. As a matter of fact, she can't even speak because for whatever reason, she was inside that box getting carved the hell up. So basically, our interaction consists of us noticing her frowns, her displeasure, or her trying to point at things and trying to make sense of what's going on. But that's okay, we still like her and we even held her hands because yeah, the lady's been through a lot. As for her perk, it turns out that she can delay how long it takes for these stupid machines to blow up your head. So yeah, she's rather a perfect companion, I think. Alright, we gotta talk about Dean Domino, the real problem child.
Have a seat and then we'll talk.
You see, personally, I wanted a companion that I could talk to that A, isn't a dog, B, isn't condescending to me, and C, can't even talk to me. So this was the perfect in between. Unfortunately, Dean Domino is rather strange. You see, this is no ordinary ghoul. He was actually alive during the building of the Sierra Madre, and even knew the owner, Frederick Sinclair, and the former lover, Vera Keys. She will become a person who's very important later on. Keep that in mind. Although Dean Domino has an amazing voice actor, he himself is a pain in the ass. I mean, the dude just does not want to put himself in danger in any kind of way. Reason being, he's been trying to get into the Sierra Madre, unlocking its secrets and the casino inside, and getting everything for himself. To make things worse, Dean Domino's ego is fragile as glass. Do anything that he dislikes, and he quickly turns into a problem. Also, cool little secret, he's one of the ghouls that doesn't have his voice altered in any kind of way. He actually retains his normal voice box from before the war. Dean has committed to hiding a couple secret stashes around the Sierra Madre. You, the player, can go find them, and it has a decent amount of stim packs, guns, and whatever else he could find. Alright, cool, so we found all three companions. Now what? Well, Elijah wants them each to do their own specific task in order to have us open up the Sierra Madre casino. First up is Christine. We have to take her to Puesta del Sol, the switching station, and get her ready to trigger the gala event. To do so, you have to take her to the confined space at the station, and depending on how you play it out, she will consider you a monster or an ally. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I was paying attention or what, but I somehow managed to get her to be on my good side. I mean, I took a guess, but if you were to push her down the elevator, I'm assuming that wasn't gonna go well. As for God and Dog, they have to go to the switching station. I personally chose to manipulate God into just leading Dog through this whole objective and getting it done. Simple, clean hand. Now Dean Domino. You have to take in the Puesta rest of the soul south, and he has to just connect the circuit. Easy, right? And you're supposed to leave him alone. Well, like I said, he's a coward, and he refuses to do anything that might risk his life. So it is up to you to either threaten to break his legs, or you can summon a bunch of ghosts, because apparently ghost holograms make the ghost harvesters just be docile. I don't know how that works, but it does. And so it begins the grand opening of the Sierra Madre Casino. Yeah, you thought it was over, didn't you? That is loud as fuck. This is more creepier than before. Let's do this. Of course. Seems about right. Alright, we have to speak about Frederick Sinclair and the casino. Frederick Sinclair was a rich man who decided to build this casino. Simple as that, really. If you want to go into further lore, yeah, I'm not going to explore that. It's too much and it's too complicated. But to get the gist, the man built this casino and he also implemented a whole crap ton of security. One of those being these holograms that are impossible to kill. They cannot be shot at, they cannot be stopped. The only way to even shut this down is just finding a power relay that summons them. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off and clicking things on terminals. To be honest, I didn't know what I was doing. I ended up getting lucky, finding the blue button, pushing it, and no longer was I being attacked, leaving me open to being able to gamble away at my heart's content. And we all know I love to gamble. So after being a degenerate, it was time to go find my companions. Because you know, saving them once wasn't enough. This time around though, things are different. You're not really recruiting them for anything, but rather solving their issues. And in this case for God or Dog, it turns out that we have the chance to make them whole again. I mean that literally. We end up convincing Dog and God to forgive one another, to accept each other, and somehow they ended up becoming a brand new entity. Although if you do this option, he will no longer be able to help you throughout the quest. So choose wisely. I went ahead and chose to be a good guy because, you know, they deserve it considering all the pain they've been through, even through the Master and now Elijah.
He's right. If you merge us, then we, or whatever we become, we can't help you when you reach whatever's at the Sierra Madre's end.
Then it was Dean Domino's turn, and what can I say? The guy is a giant dick. There were two bombshells that were dropped on me when I was playing. One, Vera Keys, the one who was the voice and the radio that invited you in, was Dean Domino's former lover. But it also turns out that he was blackmailing her in order to get her to make Frederick Sinclair fall in love with her so that they can all go around and basically rob the man blind. And two, this musician is one dark-hearted son of a bitch. He decided to put Christine, our favorite little mute, into that machine in order to have her voice box replaced with Vera Keys' voice. Yeah, it turns out Elijah did not do that. It was Dean Domino. And personally, I should have shot him in the head. I just forgot to. Dean Domino also really just wants to use you to get to the treasure that he's been hunting down for 200 years, which we'll go over that at the end. Back to our best girl, Christine. Oh my god, she can talk.
Want me here, callers and all?
And hey, this voice seems rather familiar. That's right. Remember when I mentioned that her voice box got switched out for Vera Keys? Yeah, it was all for this moment. You see, I didn't put two and two together until later, but it turns out that Christine was actually a member of the Brotherhood of Steel. As a matter of fact, her and Elijah were both part of the Brotherhood of Steel. And to make matters worse, well, worse or better, she's lesbian. At least that's what I think was referenced when we talked to Veronica about her love life. Anyways, Christine was sent here on a mission to hunt down Elijah for all the crimes he committed. And this all started at Helios 1, where Elijah refused to retreat after they're getting their ass beat from the NCR, all because he wanted the technology there. Of course, it was almost biblical that she ended up in Vera Keys' room. Yeah, do you see that skeleton? Yep, that's her. Also, she did OD on Medec, so yikes. It beats the alternative of waiting until you wither away, so I don't really blame her. Christine did make me feel better about not killing Dean Domino because she herself doesn't hold any malice against him. Reason being, she said she's done something similar or if not more awful than what he's done. So I guess all of us are bad guys? I don't know anymore. I had to make sure that we gambled away everything we could and get all the money before leaving this casino. After finishing up the gambling, we went and started the quest. Time to finish the Sierra Madre. As we reached the final stages, we ended up at the last bit. the vault that locked away all the hidden treasures. Of course, like I mentioned before, the game loves to have high skill checks, so you better make sure that you have a decent amount of skill points in all of them, from science, speech, to lockpicking, and your special stats. Look at all my treasures! From armor and weapons to all my gold. Actually, no, the treasure was mad heavy and it was dragging me down, so it was not working well, but I snatched up everything I could. Soon after, we read the final log from Frederick Sinclair, who managed to find out not only that Vera Keys was going to steal from him, but that the mastermind Dean Domino was behind it all. Cause you see, Vera Keys felt bad, and some would even believe she might have actually fallen in love with Frederick Sinclair. And so when she ratted everybody out, Sinclair took the time to start changing things up, because the last message, had Dean came into the vault and opened it, would have left him trapped forever. And that's exactly what I did. Yes, I did in fact die the first time. I really didn't think it would do that, but it did, so we're gonna have to reset that. And as we left, it turns out that Elijah does not appreciate us stealing all the things from the vault, and so he starts shooting at us. But we don't take that lightly. We blast his head off multiple times and killed him even more. Why? Because there is a way to escape the Sierra Madre with everything you've gotten. The problem is it takes a little bit of finessing. You see, you stay behind this pillar, you wait for Elijah to come in, you kill Elijah, and unfortunately for me, I had to drag him over to this spot, make sure that his hand sticks through the little weird plasma door, and I had to run, book it as fast as I can to the other side, grab all the gold bars I deposited on Elijah's body, and try not to have my head explode. Come on, come on. Oh, motherfucker, son of a bitch. Easier said than done. But once I did it, it felt great. Come on, come on. Ah, I'm gonna shut my eyes. Just keep going. Come on. Pressing A like a motherfucker. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Do it, 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 do it. Yes! Woo! Heist of the centuries, bitch! Because now, not only am I rich with paper money, I'm rich with gold! And that was basically the end of the whole DLC. By the time I went back to the fountain, everyone was gone, no one was there, and the end scene played. You see, Dean Domino ended up not going back either because he set his eyes on Vegas. Dog, or God, ended up becoming a new entity, and they would go around and find themselves once more in the desert. And Christine, she stayed back, making sure that she would protect the Sierra Madre from any ill-doers, while also becoming part of its history. Even the Ghost Harvester started to notice her, and even revered her, no longer attacking her at that spot. As for Elijah, well, he's dead. But I found out you could also trap him in the vault, in which case he loses his mind and goes through the 5 stages of grief. Had I known that, I may have chosen that route. And there is a secret ending, one where you can actually end the entire Mojave Desert by siding with Elijah and taking over everything using the technology that Frederick Sinclair came up with, which that man was a genius. Well, I wouldn't say a genius, but he had a lot of money to make some genius ideas. Ideas that could have possibly saved the entire desert. But alas, the hubris of man was the downfall of everybody. From all the workers and side stories that I read, many of them started to skimp out, take things for granted and used it to their advantage, messed up all over the place, and Frederick Sinclair turned a blind eye, trying to do everything at the cost of whatever he had. And lastly, the courier, there was an option for him to leave this vault with nothing, because the point of this DLC was that you had to let go of the past, had to let go of your greed, your envy, your lust. That was the vision that Obsidian had with this DLC. And I finagled my way out of that. Fuck no, I took everything that walked out. Alright, we're starting to see some things, you know? We're starting to get a move on it. Not even that bad. Everyone said you gotta let go. I'm letting go of poverty, bitch. I'm rich. The only man to succeed. I'm rich. Hey, it's Johnny Shrimp here. Yep, that's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed this one. It took me a long time to get it done, considering I have to help my mother with surgery, do schoolwork, and still do my full-time job. The next video will be about honest hearts. Until next time, Johnny Shrimp is out.
Wait a moment. Before you go, we hope you've enjoyed your stay. Farewells can be a time of sadness. Letting go, difficult. As a guest of the Sierra Madre, you know that truth more than anyone. Frederick Sinclair believed one's life could be made anew every day. That fortunes were more than the wealth in your hands. Love. Life. Family. Those to care for, and those who will care for you. To those who know these joys, the Sierra Madre holds little they don't already have. Out in the world, beyond these walls, that is your chance to begin again. I hope you'll return, in happier times. Until then, the Sierra Madre and I will hold you in our hearts. Wait a moment. Before you go,